WP Engine sends cease and desist letter to Automattic over Mullenweg's comments. And Mullenweg is one of the co-founders of WordPress. So WordPress hosting service WP Engine on Monday sent a cease and desist letter to Automattic after the latter's CEO, Matt Mullenweg, called WP Engine a cancer to WordPress last week. The notice asks Automattic and Mullenweg to retract their comments and stop making statements against the company. WP Engine, which, like Automattic itself, commercializes the open source WordPress project, also accused Mullenweg of threatening WP Engine before the WordCamp summit held last week. Automattic CEO Matthew Mullenweg threatened that if WP Engine did not agree to pay Automattic, his for-profit entity, a very large sum of money, before his September 20th keynote address at the WordCamp US convention, he was going to embark on a self-described scorched earth nuclear approach towards WP Engine within the WordPress community and beyond, the letter read. When his outrageous financial demands were not met, Mr. Mullenweg carried out his threats by making repeated false claims, disparaging WP Engine to its employees, its customers, and the world, the letter added. The letter goes on to allege that Automattic last week started asking WP Engine to pay it a significant percentage of its gross revenues, tens of millions of dollars in fact, on an ongoing basis for a license to use trademarks like WordPress. WP Engine defended its use of the WordPress trademark under fair use laws and said it was consistent with the platform's guidelines. The letter also has screenshots of Mullenweg's text messages to WP Engine CEO and board members that appear to state that Mullenweg would make the case to ban WP Engine from the WordPress community events in his talk at WordCamp if the company did not accede to Automattic's demands. And this is coming from TechCrunch.
I do love a little gossip. Don't you love a little gossip sometimes?
This is probably like the most steamy, gossipy topic we've ever done on this stream.
This is a great one.
I find this hilarious.
This is a total gossip one, and you can see my face. I enjoy a good feud. Don't you enjoy a good feud?
Personally, not so much. But in this case,
I love it.
It's very funny.
Why don't you break this down for the average person? Break this down without the legal thing. Break it down, because there's a lot of people that don't know how WordPress actually, they've probably heard of it, but they don't understand how it is. Break it down.
A couple of guys built WordPress, and you probably know roughly what WordPress is. You may not know that it's open source. So they built the site, they built the platform, they released the code, and they said, hey, this is a community effort now. You can use this, you can contribute to it, you don't have to pay us anything. This sort of belongs to everyone. And I say sort of because I'm sure they own some rights intellectually and they're talking about trademarks, which makes sense. But the platform is free to use. You don't have to pay anything to use the code, it's all out there. Well then, a few different companies sprang up offering managed WordPress experiences where you pay them for ostensibly a better experience using WordPress. And they host the website, and you get access to, maybe some of their plugins, some of their customizations. As it relates to this story, Automattic, which happens to be helmed by one of the co-founders of WordPress, is one such site. And WP Engine is another such provider. So in both cases, they're taking the open source WordPress platform, packaging it up with some features that may or may not be good, and then selling it to you for a premium. They are direct competitors in this space. The gentleman Mullenweg from Automattic, who was one of the co-founders of WordPress, is using his prestige within the space and using his platform to complain about WP Engine and say that people shouldn't be using that platform. And WP Engine, of course, is saying, well, he's just greedy. All of the bad press he's giving us right now, true or not, is because he wanted money from us and we wouldn't pay him. We wouldn't pay him.
It's almost blackmail.
Yeah.
It's blackmail. It's extortion.
All of this is really silly because WordPress is an open source software platform, an open source website content management system. You don't need to use either of their platforms. We don't use either of their platforms. I wouldn't encourage anyone to use either of their platforms. You can install your own WordPress instance on any web host, as long as they've got PHP enabled and you can access the code you need. you can go run up your own WordPress instance on a server in your basement if you really want to. We use Cloudways. They've been great to us. WordPress is bundled in. It's really easy for us to launch.
DigitalOcean now.
Cloudways is still Cloudways. It's
owned by DigitalOcean. Yes, correct.
And so they offer DigitalOcean as one of their hosting options. They also do AWS. Like it's pretty flexible. We use Cloudways. Great to work with, and they have a built-in option to just spin up a WordPress site in the back end. That's very, very common. There's tons of web hosts that will help you spin up a WordPress website.
No fees to WordPress, no monthly payment to WordPress. You don't need to pay. You need to pay hosting. You need to have a domain.
Just normal hosting rates comparable to what we pay anywhere else.
But yes.
So, I mean, our first discussion topic was, do you need to pay for WordPress? No.
Nope.
You can just go download it for free and spin it up on your server.
Yeah. And when we say download, it's not like steal a car. Would you steal? No, it's available for free.
For commercial use.
Without being nefarious. You don't need to do anything crazy to get it. It's not like you need to know, a crazy URL to download WordPress. No. WordPress is open source. It's free.
Yep.
You can just go get it yourself. You obviously need to be a little bit technical because you're still dealing with a website. But yes, it's free. If someone is charging you to download WordPress, I would question that. Why am I paying for this thing? Why would I pay for Word? Well, great. There's services that you can pay for and help you can pay for. For WordPress itself does not have a cost. There's no receipt. There's no.
Your WordPress website probably has a big price tag attached to it, but you're paying for that developer to go and build you an awesome website. You're not paying for the WordPress platform at its core.
Correct.
So why do businesses pay for services like WP Engine or Automattic? 9 times out of 10, it's because that's what your web developer set you up with. If we're being honest about the industry, I don't see a lot of business owners really heavily investigating their web hosting, nor should they. It's usually such a drop in the bucket in terms of their annual expenses. I don't have too much to say on this.
This is just a great feud between two companies claiming that the one is claiming the moral superiority over the other. Like when I hear the cancer to WordPress, it's just like, that's ridiculous.
Those are big words from someone also
doing the same thing. It's like how to be
doing a very similar thing. I don't want to say they're doing the same thing because I don't know the details of the two.
I'm sure they will market themselves differently, but like from our point of view, they do the same job.
Yeah,
they do the same job. It's just funny to see. It's like greed in real time.
Let me put it this way: if you're technical enough to manage your own website, you're technical enough that you don't need one of these bundled WordPress providers. You don't need managed WordPress hosting. You can just run WordPress on any given host. And if you're not technical enough to figure that out, then you probably don't have the skills required to manage the website itself effectively, and you're going to run into all kinds of problems. Who's this? Like, if you're a blogger, and all you want to be is a blogger,
food critic, blogger,
and you're not trying to finely tune your conversion rates and run a business in the traditional sense, this a managed WordPress hosting solution might be a great idea.
Yeah, it costs you some bucks, but keep things light.
Yeah,
easy.
But if you're
trying to make money, run a business.
Yeah, if you're trying to attract customers, get conversions, finely tune your website to be an optimum sales funnel for your business, you're either technical enough that you don't need these services, or not technical enough, and you should be hiring someone to manage it for you anyways.
Yeah. In-house or out of house, you have to bring in help.
Yeah.
So,
what should you look for in a web host?
Yeah.
Automatic backups.
Backups, big one. Cost.
Yep.
There's some ridiculous, do you actually need what they're trying to provide you? Do you need the top tier hosting for a website that doesn't generate any traffic? No.
Flexibility. We used to host all our websites with SiteGround. We have gradually moved everything over to Cloudways, largely because SiteGround made a bunch of changes and then started nickel and diming us, right? Because they switched everything over to their weird in-house system instead of using cPanel, which was an industry standard. And then they wanted to nickel and dime us on backups. And it made no sense to us. We had decent service from SiteGround for years using cPanel, and everything worked the way we wanted it to work pretty much. And then when they introduced this new platform that was mandatory to switch over to, then it opened the door for us to go, well, if we have to use a weird company-specific platform anyways. We might as well go look at all the other ones that are available,
Yep.
and we ended up on Cloudways, where they don't nickel and dime us on backups, and we have a way better experience.
Yeah. But we wouldn't expect our the business we support to do that. That's like an hour job.
Oh yeah.
Like if
We have the odd client that wants to manage their own hosting, and that's fine, but
we've got clients that have weird setups, and again, like the weirder you get, typically the harder it is to find support for, and the more expensive it is, and the less secure it is, and the less functionality it is. But like, hey, some people like weird, and that's fine. But really, like cost, this amount of support you're getting. So like, if you're on some weird kind of stuff, it's going to be hard for you to find people that will help support weird.
Yeah.
So if you're on something that's like super because you saved $1 a month, it's going to cost you 10 times. Like again, what's the saying? You're saving pennies to cost you dollars or something like that.
something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, like, okay, great. It's an extra $1 a month, but you're saving 3 hours of development every year. Well, then you're actually way ahead.
Yeah.
The backups are huge. The security, I mean, obviously.
As we touched on earlier in the stream, depending on your industry, where are their servers located?
Yeah.
You might really care to
Canadian
host
servers.
your data on Canadian servers. Depends on the company you work with.
Yep. So yeah, this is just a fun topic. I like to giggle at this stuff because it's hilarious. I would have loved to have been a fly in the wall at that WordCamp convention, because I bet you there was some definite stuff said there.
Yeah.
It was just two companies butting heads over nothing, and I mean trying to.
Yeah, no one looks good doing this.
No. No, sorry, not Automattic. WP Engine, if they play their cards right, they can position it as greedy, but like they're gonna get slammed. They're gonna get drawn through the mud.
Oh yeah.
Pretty hard.
Like,
but it's there's a good chance they don't lose that lawsuit. If that cease and desist goes through, there's a good chance they'll win it. Like, cause like they'll put up a good argument, and like you can't say that about a business unless you're actually doing harm
I don't know.
to the
That's
industry.
like pretty clearly his opinion. He might be fine.
Maybe.
Right? Because
I don't know.
There's no, like, that's not. You can't dispute that fact, right? It's not like he's saying.
I don't know how the law works in terms of what you can hold a public figure liable
I'm pretty sure
for.
you can say
Like,
whatever you want as far as your opinion, because he's not trying to claim that they did.
What's slander, though?
It would be slander if he said WP Engine ruins your WordPress site.
Oh,
Right? If he said, if he went and said like WP Engine is such a bad platform that if you use it, your business will go under because they lie to their customers. Like, now we're into the realm of
yeah, scorched earth nuclear approach. That's a great.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
So,
this isn't just going to go away. There's probably not going to be more news on this.
It probably is just gonna fade away to nothing. This is just some drama in the WordPress hosting community, which is not the biggest community in the world. For us, it's a great chance to talk about why we like the web host we use.
Yep. We like WordPress. We like WordPress. We have a lot of infrastructure built in WordPress. It's just not with these two particular two companies.